What's up, guys? We're back, and this is Danmachi week. If this video is coming out on time, we'll see.
I'll work extra hard.
Yeah. So for this one, we're talking about volume 15. So if you're an anime-only watcher, you can continue to watch this video, but there are going to be some minor spoilers or something, maybe. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
probably.
volume 15 comes out on December 1st, at least in the States that we know of. So we wanted to talk about that. If you haven't pre-ordered it, you can get it digitally now. Obviously, it comes out December 1st, so that's when you're going to get access to it, at least in the U.S.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is overseas. Obviously, in Japan, you've
had it for a while, you dirty bastard.
Yeah, that's aggressive, but I kind of agree.
That's what we're all thinking.
But yeah, so we wanted to go over kind of the back of the book, talk about that just a little bit, and then how excited we are. I don't know. I can't speak for Josh, but I think we've both really been enjoying the third season of Danmachi, and it's really gotten our appetite up for the series, especially with the Freya side story coming out recently.
I think the Freya ones got me the most excited just because of everything that they're doing to set up those characters.
The implications.
Yeah, for real. Plus, also, I've been seeing a lot of activity on our speculation that we did for like a spoiler discussion on Volume 14 and speculation for 15 before we had the synopsis of the book. And I've been seeing that like trend on like our stats, and I was like, "Dang, when did we do that?" And it made me look, and I was like, "Dang, it's either almost or it has been a full year since 14 came out." So you know, you have also that time craving that's going there, but
it's like Overlord, except way better because that's only once every 3 years.
Yeah, it doesn't just die before it gets here.
And that means that's the Japanese version. I'm not even talking about the English. Anyway.
All right. Well, I guess we can get into this description since we have a book. So it does have this like little, I guess, excerpt or like what would you call it? Like, quotation for the volume. After all, my goddess once told me that resting is part of an adventurer's job.
Oh, it's a side story.
Take that from the goddess that like spent her first like year just reading books and eating potato crisps, not doing anything when she first came to the world. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Hestia would say that.
They do need a break though.
Okay, so I'll put it up on the screen so you don't have to just hear my words, but anyway, I'll continue with the rest of this. After going deeper than they've ever gone before and surviving the dangers of the dungeon, Bell and his companions have more than earned themselves a respite. In the warm sunlight and safety of the surface, everyone has a moment to sit and reflect on just how much they've changed. Bell's thoughts return to the day everything began. Hestia remembers her trials after leaving the heavens. Lilly thinks of the cindery past she has overcome. Welf gazes into the sky but sees days long gone. Eina, I can never remember how to say this, but a scared heart reminds her of what she's lost. Liu mows over her oath to uphold justice. Mikoto and Haruhime relive the peace of their youth. These are the stories of where they all came from and how far they've come. Wow, I almost got
to that was pretty good description.
Yeah.
So obviously it's going to talk a lot of different characters. Now I'm not.
This is a code volume 8.
Yeah. So this could be a volume 8. There's probably going to be a thread line throughout the whole story, like there was in volume 8. Hopefully we'll get some leveling up. I might have been minorly spoiled on this, but I deleted the comment as soon as I saw it, so I don't really.
So hopefully nobody else did.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't really get spoiled, but so that's honestly that's great because. I'm glad the author had some time to think of a really good arc coming up because I think we're at a transition point in the series after the rescue of Liu and her redemption.
Right.
In many ways. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays, and hopefully it talks a little bit about that in Volume 15, even though it may just be a little bit of it.
I think if we did have an overarching story, kind of much like it was in Volume 8, I think two things that, at least right off the top of my head, would maybe be cool to do is one, if like the Liu one is kind of tied with wanting to see her goddess again because we know she's still out there, so maybe like Hestia Familia just like accompanies her, and along the ride there's certain things that remind them of like where they've came from or the stuff that they've gone through, and that might be a cool way to introduce some new things as well as touch on some of the old stuff.
I know Loki Familia.
Yeah, that'd be another great thing. And you know, maybe we can even stop by some of the places we got mentioned in the Freya side story, which would be kind of cool to see how those areas have changed since we know that the events of the Freya volume took place, you know, earlier in the timeline. But the other thing that might be interesting is maybe like maybe they drag out the whole what is it, the ceremony where they name they give you like a new title when you level up, and there's going to be several members of the Hestia familia that are getting level ups. Probably not Bell, obviously, but because he just recently had one. Yeah, it could be. That would be fun. That'd be ridiculous, but also I wouldn't mind it at all because I want to see him get as strong as possible. But if we got some of the other people leveling up, maybe that's something that they're getting ready for the ceremony, or it's leading towards that, and we just get these like little side things interjectively in there, but.
And Liu, as far as we know, hasn't joined a familia, right? So they still have to solve that.
Which, it's still weird, because, like, she's indebted to Mamma Mia, and Mamma Mia has ties to Freya familia, but, like, after we've gotten more stuff, from the Freya, it's like, Liu's probably not, like, by, like association, like, indebted to Freya, so I would imagine Liu's got, like, the freedom to go to a different familia. But I don't know how much of that would change the dynamic her character already has. So I'd be interested to see if they went that route, how they'll play on those relationships.
I could also see her leveling up to 5, and obviously she has to go to a goddess to get that done. Mm-hmm. So maybe on their journey to see her goddess, she levels up and then has a renewed commitment to justice now that she has more power. Yeah. Because not to be whatever, but one of the major things of Liu is being stronger than Bell, or like being a major ally. And if everyone else levels up and either Bell levels up in this volume or the next one, she's not going to be a real helpful force,
Yeah, I would love a major like if force. Maybe her goddess came back to Arario, because I think the guild might have made like a official announcement that the evils are like done for, right? Or like they have like official confirmation. I could be misremembering that, but I feel like there was something besides just like, or maybe it was they announced, or they like said that Liu died. Like they announced that in the guild so that she could be free to do other stuff and not have like that past burdening her. So either one of those things, like having like her old goddess come back because of that news, and then running into Liu, and then that kind of going into like her new realm of justice. Cute. That would be cute. Now the other thing that I am kind of like weary on is it says that we'll get focus on like Mikoto and Haruhime. So like past I would assume like their youth, like as I mentioned, and I'm like, I don't know, like that might be like interesting depending on how they do, because I did really like kind of the connection they had when we got introduced to Haruhime in volume 7, right? But the thing is that one, we've already got a lot of how that stuff went down, so I don't know what else they could show unless there's something that we don't know about in there. But the other thing, though, is that the author said in like the afterwards of the Freya light novel that he was thinking about doing the next one, or one of the future ones, on Haruhime and like a story centered around her, or like her past. So I really hope that doesn't mean it's like a Liu scenario where like we got more, like plenty of like Liu's like backstory and everything like that in the mainline series, and then there's like, I don't want to say an unnecessary, but maybe just not as like an exciting telling of her past in a different book. But I don't know, I'm still interested to see it nonetheless,
I don't think it'll be an emphasis, and the author's really great, so he may be able to work it. I think they'll work it out, but probably what they'll just do is they'll be in a dungeon together with the other familia that all of them come from the same background. I guess it's Taki or the other god, I'm not sure, but it's probably just an incident there in the dungeon or something that they reminisce about their past, but I'm unsure.
What do you think could be the possibility with Welf? Because do you think it's going to be like a focus on like maybe taking his like new magic sword to like his goddess, or do you think it's even going to center around like his love story with his goddess?
So it could, and I would be cool with that. Additionally, it could just be him being a new person now, and because he's pretty much evolved to the point where he's willing to craft anything that can help save Belle and give them more power to do good in the world. So
because he's just a bro like that.
He is the bro. So maybe he's just reflecting on that. It would be cool if he got just one scene with his god again, because they have a sweet relationship, and maybe. I don't know. The author probably hasn't decided, or we certainly haven't decided if he's going to stay in the familia forever or eventually become the leader of the goddess's familia.
That's pretty true. Because like out of his and Mikoto too, I guess. Like they're the two that are like kind of variables. So it makes me wonder if they ever did. I don't know. Like it's like one of those things where it's like we could always see those characters like split off from Hestia familia, but it takes place like after the story's already finished. So, and we just see it in like an afterward type thing, or like, you know, like a prologue, or epilogue.
Epilogue, yeah.
But I don't know, that would be kind of an interesting thing if there is going to be some characters that, let me ask you this, because Book 8, I liked Book 8 a lot. It was like one that's pretty unique because it stands out as being the only one of its kind right now, right? But as we know, like for anime adaptation, it doesn't seem like they find it as important to adapt. So are you kind of leery about some of this that's like, I mean, you know, the books are separate and we like enjoyed the books probably more anyway, but do you think this will like have any effect on the anime at all, since it's kind of seemingly like a sidestep again?
Well, I mean, he's pretty good at putting threads in the anime, and we really don't know if they'll do a Freya anime side story.
Oh, that would be so dope
it
if
would
they
be
did,
dope.
though.
We'll see how... I'm sure he's making a lot of money, so it's really just if he wants to put effort to it or not, and the studio wants to support him.
I'd say shut up and take my money right now.
I mean, yeah, obviously. But, I don't know. I understand, like, it could get samey if there's too many of those, but he's really good at putting in threads that are important later on and before, so I'm sure he'll do that. I was gonna say with Welf though, I could see him staying in Hestia Familia, and that being like, well, I'm not in your Familia, so we can get married, you know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I would wonder what that would mean for him, if that means like he gets some sort of I don't know, like it unlocks like a new skill form or something. Maybe you get something like Bell, where it's like, I have like a marriage like passive skill where it boosts all like
Bell's obviously kind of close to being a god in this universe, but I feel like Welf, like, does he get?
He's got spirit blood. It's fine.
Well, I know, but like, does he get to be a god if he's better than the god of blacksmithing, or is the rules of the gods like, you're still?
He
not
just
a god.
becomes the new god, like it's a title.
They're like
if she's mortal, it's okay for them to be together, type thing. It's like, that's not in my standards, but if you do it, have at it, type.
Just when you're about to die, you get the god position again, and then we reset. So you have
like the old switcheroo, you know, at the very end of the lifeline.
That's just me being crazy, but
that would be great. I mean, I
want them to get married in the series, but because I don't think that's happened yet. We did have someone who loved their goddess, but it didn't work.
But it didn't work out very well. Now, interestingly enough, since we're talking about do you think the Lilly, like when it talks about focusing on past days that are gone, or what did it say? It said thinks of the cindery past that she has overcome. Okay, I was gonna say, do you think it has any relation to the fucking just completely rejecting that she did towards Finn? But I guess it would more so relate to her troubled past and the other familia that she.
Yeah, I mean she.
But again, like, have we already had two? I don't know. Like, we might be taking this out of context, because instead of seeing these as separate stories, kind of like how Book 8 was structured, it might be more. Like, where that one was like the side stories are the focus and the overall story is the background. This might be like the overarching story is in the front, but these side stories are in the background, you know? So I guess it just kind of depends on how he structures it this time around.
Yeah, and we may be overemphasizing this, and this may be only like, 5 pages of what is happening, we're talking about. But
the rest is just all about Freya.
Yeah, no, but she did certainly like steal and cheat when she had, her ability to transform into different, people, and I kind of got the impression that Belle wasn't the first adventurer that she tried to kill, for money. Yeah. So maybe she'll talk about that a little bit.
That might actually be a pretty interesting. I don't know if like they would go this far, but like it might be something interesting to work around if like she actually did kill like a couple of people, or at least one other person. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited though for whatever it has in store. Like I said, it's been like a year or thereabouts. So really anything. Was starving for content after the Freya side story, and I don't even think it has to have that much action in it for me to still enjoy it. I mean, even seeing Hestia again will be really cool, because we haven't seen Hestia for like 3 books. I mean, we saw a little bit, right, when she was like sending notes for like support, like when they needed it in the dungeon. But outside of that, I mean, we haven't really had anything with them. Oh, we were talking about actually, like in the anime when we watched episode 9 about I guess the one downside you could say about Volume 11 is that everything kind of gets tidied back up the way it kind of was in a neat little bow where like, oh, the people like don't hate him as much. Like they seemingly are okay with him again. And like, again, he's got like at least a speaking position on his relationship with Eyes, right? So that might be something that they can go around with and kind of toe, because they hadn't had a lot of time to showcase kind of the consequences of that scenario fully on like the residual of people that, you know, they don't necessarily know personally or haven't had direct interactions with. So maybe we'll see a little bit of that might be interesting to touch on.
Yeah. Certainly, hopefully we'll see some of that, and very familiar, you know, we'll see what they do. But honestly, I like that Bell. It'd be great if Bell's not a focus. Like, in the main series, obviously, Bell's the main character, so he's going to be a focus.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, if he's there and doing stuff, which obviously I love seeing Bell, so I want him there doing stuff. But if he's not, you know, fighting monsters, he's just enjoying time with his familia, and then his familia are becoming closer and closer, then that would be great. Especially because they have many challenges ahead of them.
Yeah.
Now that we know someone's got to hit level 10, 11.
Yeah, it's
going to be a long journey.
Because the one thing that I'm actually really interested to see, because, I mean, much like you with the comment of, like, level ups, I sort of got spoiled when I was trying to make a thumbnail for one of our videos. I saw the cover of Volume 16, and I was like, oh. And that makes me super hyped to see some of the things mentioned in the other volumes we've read, you know, how that will play in. But, you know, the one thing that we got in, like, the last arc that I feel like is going to have a bigger play, especially after seeing some things. But that is the note that Seer gets and then, like, runs off and, like has to do something. So I'm curious to see if we'll get, like, any kind of maybe sneak peeks or teases at that. And
I would love a cute scene with Freya and Belle.
Yeah,
they haven't talked in a long time.
They, what was it? The last time they talked was when he was getting his new title, and she like made an innuendo about like what he should be called or something.
Yeah, maybe they'll have an incredible luncheon. You never know.
That would I would be fine with that. 100% down. But yeah, that's I don't know. Do you have anything else? I mean, all of this is like pure spitballing. I mean, I think some of these can be like pretty accurate, but then others are like, you know, you won't really know until like you read like the first, I don't know, like handful of pages and see kind of like the direction of it. But I'm hyped regardless. I think, or at least I should say, I just hope that volume 16 and like 17 and whatever other ones are already available in Japan are not going to be as long of a wait, because I think, what was it, every 6 months or something like that is the typical schedule, and we had to wait double that this time. So I'm hoping that it goes back to kind of normal.
If I remember correctly, I think the last 2 books were delayed. I assume this delay may have been world circumstance related more than anything else.
Probably.
But, hopefully, and I haven't. The Danmachi author is not very easily accessible, like interviews with him in the West, so we don't really know how old he is or like how committed he is to it. But I don't know. I think he's doing a great job, and I'm sure he's getting a lot of support from the anime. I mean, it's already got 3 seasons. That's pretty rare for a light novel.
Well, and they made season 2 and season 3 pretty much back to back, right? So I mean, I would imagine like he's going full out on his series, but I don't know. Like on the book end, I've been very well pleased. There hasn't really been a book I've really disliked or even like flat out hated. So, you know, that leaves me hopeful for the others. But I don't know. There's not much I have to say less, because I feel like at this point I'll probably just be repeating myself. So do you have any closing remarks, Michael, on 15?
No, I'm excited for 15. Buy the book, support the author. He, for all intents and purposes, he's a great guy. I don't know, he writes great things. That's all I can say. And if now's the time. If you have not read the books and you're watching the anime, go out, buy the books, read them. It's a great experience. It's more than what the anime gives you, and you get to enjoy just a lot of material that you aren't going to get in the anime or in any other version. So do that.
And from a collector's standpoint, the physical copies are pretty cool. They have some really nice presentation, and I think you know, if you're a diehard fan of the series, it's always nice having something that you can like visually see in like your house or like wherever you live. But Yeah, we will have. Hopefully, I mean, some of my books just disappear randomly, so I don't know if we'll be able to show you a physical copy of it. But I hope we will for volume 15. Maybe show that off so you can be jealous and go get yourself one. Forever looking forward to being sponsored by either the author himself or the publisher or the mobile game. So here's hoping to that. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask us for the next Q&A, please leave them down below because we are going to try to make some of those here in the near future. But
it should be Danmachi month. I mean, there's also some important things that happen in November, December, but Danmachi is going to be one of us for us. So I think that's pretty much it. We shouldn't make this video too long. Buy volume 15. If you're caught up, it's going to be great. You've had 14 times to get disappointed, and I have not gotten disappointed with the book since. So
it's very true. We're going for 15 now.
Yeah, I'm excited, and 100 Danmachi books to come. When I'm 70 years old, I'll be here reviewing them. So, all right, I think that's pretty much it. Well, later, addicts. We'll see you next time with more Danmachi videos.
Alrighty, peace, guys.